On my 25th birthday, I got a gift that shattered my world. My mom handed me a cheap card with 2 words scribbled inside. You're nothing. Then, right in front of our guests, my dad laughed and toasted my failure. But they didn't know what was coming. And when it hit like a hurricane. I stood there, frozen. The room went silent for a second before the cruel laughter filled the air. My heart pounded so loud I thought everyone could hear it. I stared at that pathetic card in my trembling hand. You're nothing. That was all they thought of me. After everything I'd done. After everything I'd survived. Then my dad raised his glass, smirking like the devil himself, to Ivy, the one who couldn't even finish college. Cheers! The guests, mostly his drunk golf buddies, and Mom's shallow book club friends, joined in the mockery. They clinked glasses and snickered like this was the highlight of their night. I felt the tears coming. But I didn't let them fall. Not in front of them. Not ever again. Instead, I smiled. A smile that probably scared them if they noticed. I excused myself, calm on the outside, storm on the inside. I walked out of that house, out of that party, out of their miserable lives. Or so they thought. Let me tell you how it came to this. I'm Ivy, 25, from a small town outside Columbus, Ohio. My parents, Victor and Elaine Reddick, are local royalty. Dad owns a chain of car dealerships. Mom's the head of every committee in town. And me? I was the accident they reminded me about it every chance. Growing up was a nightmare with them. My older brother, Darren, was the golden boy. Straight A's, football star, daddy's pride. Me, I liked art, books, animals. I wasn't loud enough, shiny enough, useful enough for their plans. They called me ungrateful when I didn't want what they forced on me. They called me lazy when I worked 3 jobs to pay my own tuition after they refused. They called me stupid when I chose a small liberal arts college over the big state school that would look better on paper. When I dropped out after a breakdown from overwork and stress, that sealed the deal. Failure, embarrassment, dead weight. And Darren? He soaked up their love like a sponge. Never defended me, never cared. Perfect Darren, who got a free ride to law school and a condo in the city while I scraped by waiting tables and doing freelance graphic design. But I wasn't done. I kept going. I rebuilt myself in the shadows. I started a small business designing websites for local shops, then bigger clients, then national brands. I didn't tell my family. Why would I? I wanted to succeed without their poison touching it, and I did, quietly, steadily, until the night of that birthday party. I went back to my tiny apartment, sat in the dark, and thought I could walk away forever. But then I had a better idea, a savage idea. You see, what they didn't know is that I'd been helping my elderly neighbor, Mr. Carson, manage his estate website. He had no kids. No. Family, just me and his cat. We talked for hours. He became like the grandfather I never had. And just 2 weeks before that disastrous party, he passed. His lawyer contacted me. Left me everything. His house. His investments. His antique shop. His millions. I hadn't told anyone yet. Not even my best friend. But now I saw exactly what I could do. The next morning, I got dressed in my best suit. I called a real estate agent. I called a lawyer. I made appointments. I took control. No more sad Ivy, no more victim. It was time to play the game my parents loved so much, but this time, I had all the cards, and I played dirty. I didn't just inherit a house and some savings. I inherited power. And my parents? They were about to find out what happens when you kick the wrong daughter one too many times. Let's talk numbers. Mr. Carson's estate wasn't some dusty inheritance. With a broken down house and a rusty Buick, it was insane. Stocks in pharmaceutical startups, early investments in 2 food delivery tech companies, real estate in Florida and Texas, and a trust fund stacked with nearly $8.7 million. Yeah, I almost threw up when I saw the balance. Then I laughed. For the first time in years, I really laughed. The same girl my mom said was barely employable now had more money than my father's entire dealership chain had probably seen in a decade. And I hadn't even cashed a single check yet. But I didn't want revenge through violence. No, that would have been too easy. Too quick. I wanted to crush them with something far worse: humiliation. I started small. Step 1, I bought the building their favorite coffee shop leased. The shop Elaine visited every morning to gossip with her plastic-faced friends. I called. my new property manager and had the lease reviewed. Turns out, it expired in 60 days. I grinned. Do not renew, I said sweetly. In fact, raised the rent by 40% immediately. Then came Victor's precious dealership. I hired a forensic accountant. Guess what? One of the suppliers, Taylor and Knox Auto Parts, was actually a shell company owned by Victor himself. He'd been laundering money through fake invoices for years. It was dirty, stupid, and traceable. I didn't report him, yet instead, I bought 12% of the public shares in the regional dealership network his business was part of, quietly, through 3 different entities. Let him keep thinking I was broke. And pathetic. Let him toast to my failure while I sat in meetings with his competitors, eating their catered sushi and listening to them call my father a liability. That's when I saw the opportunity to go even deeper. I reached out to Darren. Yes, Darren. The golden boy, Mr. Law Degree, Mr. Condo in Chicago, Mr. You're just sensitive. But here's the kicker. Darren had debt, a lot of it. Turns out, his lifestyle didn't match his paycheck. His wife, Kimberly, was bleeding him dry with her influencer wannabe spending. They were drowning, and I was ready to be the lifeline. Dinner? I texted him. He replied in 5 minutes. Desperate people. Move fast. We met at a swanky steakhouse downtown. I wore a fitted black dress, red lipstick, and confidence like armor. He showed up looking like a deflated balloon in a J. Crew clearance suit. Ivy, you look good, he said, eyes flickering with surprise. Oh, I am good, I said, sipping. My wine? Let's talk business. His jaw tightened. I laid it out. Calm, precise. I know you need money. I'll help. But I need something first. What? Access to Dad's dealership financials. You've helped him file those taxes, haven't you? His mouth open, then closed. Caught. I could pay off your credit cards. Kimberly's too. Hell, I'll even buy you a new car. Something classy. Not that used BMW you pretend is new. He. Flush crimson. You have no idea what you're getting into. He muttered. Double quotes. Oh, I do. But I think you're the one who doesn't realize which one of us is poor now. He looked at me, then nodded slowly. Hook. Line. Sinker. That night, I couldn't sleep. My brain was on fire. My plan was unfolding faster than I thought possible. I wasn't just getting revenge. I was rewriting the story they wrote for me. But then, something weird happened. 2 days later, I got a call from an unknown number. I answered, Ivy Reddick? A gruff male voice asked, Yes? This is Agent Milton with the IRS. My blood turned to ice. We'd like to ask you a few questions about your father's business and a recent series of stock purchases traced back to your trust accounts. Wait. What? My hands were shaking as I hung up. The IRS? This wasn't part of the plan. I paced my apartment, heart racing, mind spinning. Had I pushed too far? Too fast? But no, this wasn't about me. This was about him, Victor, my father, the king of the fraud. But they had me on their radar now. And that meant I had to play smarter. I took a deep breath. I wasn't going to let fear stop me. I called my lawyer Rachel, sharp as a blade and twice as deadly in court. She listened as I explained, then laughed, low and dangerous. They're not after you, Ivy. They're after your father. And they know you might have the evidence they need. That gave me strength. I wasn't the target. I was the key. Rachel set up a meeting with Agent Milton. Meanwhile, I dug deeper. Darren came through. He sent files. So many files. Scans of invoices, emails, tax reports. I stayed up 3 nights straight, reviewing every dirty secret Victor tried to bury. Fake. Charities, phantom employees, bogus supplier payments. The man was a walking crime scene. But here's where it got wild. Buried in one of Darren's files was a letter from a private bank in the Cayman Islands. A trust, set up for Darren, funded by dealership money laundered overseas. And who signed off on it? Elaine. That's right. My darling mother wasn't just a passive participant. She was in it, up to her Botox forehead. All those years of calling me a failure while she stashed dirty money for her precious son. The irony was so thick I could choke on it, and I planned to use it. I met Agent Milton at a quiet government building. He was tall, with tired eyes, and a no-nonsense air. We sat in a tiny room that smelled like old coffee and fear. I'm not here to ruin my family, I said, sliding over a USB drive. I'm here to stop them from ruining more lives. He raised a brow but said nothing. Just took the drive. and handed me his card. We'll be in touch. And they were. Fast. Within a week, Victor's dealerships were under audit. Bank accounts frozen, suppliers panicking, and guess what? Victor didn't even know how it started. I made sure of that. Meanwhile, I kept playing my part. The broke daughter, the loser, the invisible girl. I went to family dinners, smiled at their insults, watched as cracks began to show in their perfect masks. Then the best part. I bought the mortgage on their house. They didn't own it outright. Victor had refinanced it to fund one of his shady ventures. And now, the note was mine. Ivy, the failure Reddick owned the very roof over their smug heads. I planned a visit. Dressed in casual jeans, a worn tee, and sneakers, nothing flashy. Drove up in my old Honda Civic, the one Victor always mocked. Elaine opened the door. What do you want? I smiled. Sweet as poison. Just came to say hi. Victor appeared behind her. Face pale, eyes bloodshot. He'd heard. Of course he had. How's business, Dad? I asked, tilting my head. His jaw clenched. You think this is funny? I think karma is funny, I said, stepping back. Oh, by the way, next month's mortgage payment? You can send that directly to me. I own your loan now. Small world. Huh? Elaine gasped. Victor swore. I turned and walked to my car, adrenaline pumping so hard I felt dizzy. But I wasn't done. That night, I got a text. A blocked number. You'll regret this. We always win. I stared at it, laughed, and typed back. Not this time. But even as I sent it, I felt the storm coming. And I knew the final round was going to be brutal. The storm didn't wait. It hit the next morning. I woke up to chaos. My phone was blowing up calls, texts, voicemails. News alerts. I opened the first one, my hands already trembling. Federal agents raid Reddick Auto Group. Alleged fraud. Tax evasion, offshore accounts. A photo of Victor in handcuffs. I sat there in my kitchen. Sunlight pouring in through the blinds. Phone in my hand. And I burst out laughing. It was loud, ugly, shaky. That insane kind of laugh when your body doesn't know what else to do. Then I cried. Hard. All the years of being dismissed, insulted, overlooked. It was finally crashing down. Not on me for once. On them. But reality. Came fast. Victor was arrested. Elaine. She ran. Vanished. Left a note on the kitchen counter. According to Darren, I'm not going down with him. You're on your own. The woman who'd spent 2 decades controlling every detail of our lives couldn't handle 30 seconds of actual consequence. Coward. And Darren? He came straight to me, like a stray dog in a storm. Desperate, drenched in panic. They froze. My accounts, he said, eyes wide, voice hoarse. All of them. Ivy, you said they wouldn't come after me. I blinked. No, Darren. I said help me, and maybe I'll help you. Big difference. He dropped into a chair in my apartment like someone had yanked the bones out of him. I have nothing left. Welcome to the club, I said coldly. Except now I'm the one running it. But I helped you. You helped yourself, Darren. Don't act like you ever gave a damn about me. You were just afraid I'd get ahead. His silence was louder than any scream. I turned away. I couldn't look at him. Not without wanting to punch every smug memory of his face right out of my brain. But then he said something I didn't expect. Mom called me. I froze. What? She's in Florida. With some guy. She wants me to meet her there. Says she transferred the last of Dad's hidden money into a private wallet. Crypto. She wants to disappear with it. My heart stopped. She's still trying to run. Of course she was. But she said something else. He added, looking at me through bloodshot eyes. She said if you don't back off, she'll bury you too. I laughed bitterly. She doesn't scare me. And she didn't. But I couldn't shake the feeling that something wasn't right. Why call Darren? Why not just disappear? Unless she wanted us to fight. Turn on each other. Divide. Conquer. Classic Elaine. That night, I couldn't sleep. I stared at the ceiling for hours thinking. Calculating. Planning. Then I made a decision that scared even me. I was going to find her. If she wanted a war, she was getting one. I flew to Florida the next day. Didn't tell Darren. Didn't tell Rachel. Just packed a suitcase, bought a burner phone, and booked a room in Clearwater Beach. I knew her habits. She'd go where rich men with no morals went to hide. She wasn't clever, just selfish and predictable. And after 2 days of searching, I saw her. She was at a rooftop bar. laughing with some guy in a linen shirt and gold chain, drinking champagne like she didn't just wreck an entire family. I stepped into her line of sight. Her face fell. She stood, frozen. I walked toward her. Slowly, she whispered something to her new boyfriend and tried to step away, but I grabbed her wrist. "Hello, Mom." She yanked her arm. "Let go." "Or what? You'll vanish again? Run off with more blood money?" She hissed. "You don't know what you're doing." "I know exactly what I'm doing. I'm cleaning up the filth you left behind." People were watching now, phones out. She hated attention unless she controlled it. Good. She turned on her heel and ran. And I followed. Through the bar, down the stairs, into the parking lot. She turned, breathless. "Cornered. You're insane," she snapped. "No, Mom. I'm just finally done pretending you didn't ruin me." And that's when she said it. "Victor wasn't even your real father." Everything inside me stopped. Her words echoed in my head like a gunshot. "Victor wasn't even your real father." I stood there, stunned, the Florida heat pressing down, my heartbeat roaring in my ears. My mouth open, but no sound came out. Elaine took my silence as weakness. Her lip curled into that familiar smirk I hated. Double quotes. "Oh, poor Ivy. Did you really think he put up with you out of love? You were a mistake, mine, with someone else. Victor knew. He always knew." My hand shook. I felt like I couldn't breathe. The parking lot spun around me. Palm trees, cars, blinding sunlight. All of it meaningless in that moment. "Who?" I managed to whisper. She laughed. Laughed. "Like I tell you. He was just a fling. Rich. Powerful. Long gone. That's all you need to know." I wanted to scream. To break something. To break her. But I didn't. I clenched my fist so hard my nails dug into my skin. And then it hit me. The final piece of the puzzle. That's why Victor hated me. Why he never saw me as his. Why he let Elaine tear me down. I wasn't his blood. I was a constant reminder of her betrayal. And all these years, I thought it was me. My fault. My failures. But it was them. Always them. My vision cleared. The rage turned cold. Sharp. Focused. "You know what, Elaine?" I said, voice calm as ice. "You can keep running, but I'm done chasing. The world's already closing in on you, and when it does, I'll be watching." Her smirk faltered. I turned and walked away, but the drama wasn't over. That night, I got another call. "Darren, Ivy ... You need to come home. It's bad." "What now?" They released Dad. "What?" "On bail. Some rich friend helped. And he's coming after you." I felt the blood drain from my face. "Victor out? Already? How? Why?" I flew back the next morning. Couldn't sleep. Couldn't think of anything but that man's face and the storm he was about to unleash. When I landed, I didn't even go home. I went straight to Rachel's office. She was waiting, files in hand. "He's moving fast," she said. "Trying to transfer assets, calling in favors. We need to act now if we're going to freeze him out." "I want him ruined," I said. My voice didn't even sound like mine. "I want him to lose everything. I want him to feel what I felt." Rachel smiled grimly. "Then let's get to work." The next 48 hours were a blur of meetings, filings, emergency injunctions. We moved faster than he did. Every account we could freeze, we froze. Every asset we could tie up, we did. And then I played my last card. I went to see him. Victor was holed up in one of his buddies' mansions. I drove there alone. Knocked on the door. He opened it himself. The look on his face when he saw me? Rage, hatred, fear, all tangled up. "What the hell do you want?" He spat. To see the man who taught me how to fight dirty. He sneered. "You think you've won? You're nothing." "You'll always be nothing." I stepped closer. So close. He could see the fire in my eyes. "Funny. That's what you said before I owned your house. Before I bought out your mortgage. Before I handed the IRS the evidence that's going to send you to prison." He clenched his fists. For a second, I thought he might hit me. "Go ahead," I whispered. "Give me one more reason to destroy you." He froze. Coward. I turned and walked away, heart pounding, hand shaking, but free for the first time in my life. But as I drove off, I knew it wasn't over. Not yet. One more truth was still out there. Who was my real father? I couldn't stop thinking about it. Who was my real father? It ate at me, Day and night. I'd torn down Victor. I'd cornered Elaine. I'd burned their empire to ash. But this one secret still had its claws in me. I needed the truth. No more shadows. No more lies. So I hired a private investigator. One of the best. Discreet. Ruthless. I handed him the little I knew. The timeline. The places Elaine had been. The men she'd known. And I waited. Days crawled by. Then a week. Then the call came. Ivy. We found him. My breath hitched. Who is he? The investigator hesitated. For the first time ever. Are you sitting down? I'm fine. Tell me. His voice was low. Careful. Your biological father is Charles Benedict. I froze. Charles Benedict? The billionaire. The tech giant. The man who practically owned half of Silicon Valley. I stared at the wall, unable to process it. You're sure? I whispered. Positive. DNA match from a medical database he submitted for a private study years ago. Elaine wasn't lying. He's rich, powerful, and long gone from her life. But he's very much alive. And you, Ivy? You're his only living child. My head spun. Elaine's affair hadn't been with some faceless nobody. It had been with him, and she'd hidden it. Buried it. Because the truth would have given me something she never wanted me to have. Leverage, worth, power. And now? That power was mine. I sat in my apartment, staring out at the city skyline, heart pounding. What the hell do I do now? Call him? Walk. Away? What? But fate wasn't done playing its hand. A week later, I got a letter, hand-delivered, heavy paper, no return address. Inside, a simple note. Ivy, I've been waiting for this day. Meet me, Charles. There was an address. A private jet terminal outside Chicago, tomorrow, noon. I didn't hesitate. I flew out that night, barely slept, heart racing. The next day, I stood on the tarmac, the wind whipping my hair, watching as a sleek black jet taxied toward me. The door opened, and there he was. Tall, silver hair, sharp eyes that looked right through me. And when he smiled, I saw myself. Ivy, he said, stepping down. I thought I'd lost my chance to know you. My throat tightened. Why didn't you ever look for me? He sighed. Elaine made sure I didn't know. She told me she lost a baby. I didn't find out the truth until years later. By then, I didn't know where to begin. Anger, sadness, relief. It all crashed over me at once. I don't need anything from you, I said, voice shaking. I just wanted to know who I am. He nodded, and now you do. But I'd like to give you something, if you'll let me. I hesitated. What? He handed me a small leather folder. Inside was paperwork, shares, deeds, trusts. I want you to have what was always yours. My legacy, not out of guilt, but because you deserve it. I stared at it. The weight of it all. The years of cruelty, the battles I'd fought, the pain I'd carried. And now this. I looked at him, and I smiled. A real smile. For the first time in forever. Okay, I said softly. Let's see what happens next. Explosive ending? The news hit the next morning. Every headline. Every outlet. Victor Reddick. Arrested again. Tried to flee country using fake passport. No bail this time. And the kicker? His mugshot was right next to mine, because I'd just been announced as the newest board member of Benedict Global, the daughter of the man he hated. Most. And that, my friends, is how the failure won. That's the end of today's story. Did things turn out the way you thought? Or were there some surprises along the way? Share your thoughts in the comments. I'd love to hear what you think. If you enjoyed this journey, don't forget to hit the like button. And if you haven't joined the community yet, now's the perfect time. Subscribe and turn on notifications so you're always the first to catch new stories. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next adventure.